Recording in progress.
Good evening. We will call the City Council meeting for Monday, May 5th, 2025 to order. We will begin with a land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the federally recognized Muckleshoot Indian Tribe, the ancestral keepers of the land we are gathered on today. We thank them for their immense contributions to our state and local history, culture, economy, and identity as Washingtonians. The Auburn City Council meeting will be held both in person and virtually today. Now, if you would all please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. And Sean, will you please call roll?
Deputy Mayor Rakes.
Here.
Councilmember Ammer.
Here.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Here.
Councilmember Sturgis.
Here.
Councilmember Clinton Taylor.
Here.
Councilmember Tracy Taylor.
Here.
Councilmember Trent Manuel.
Here.
Thank you. All right, we have 6 proclamations this evening. So I'm going to go over to the podium to read those. First is National Police Week and Peace Officers Memorial Day. I'll ask Chief Collier to come forward, please. Thank you. Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which that date falls as Police Week, to honor the service and sacrifice of officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. And whereas law enforcement is a noble and courageous occupation, we honor and recognize our police officers for their service and sacrifice in keeping our community safe. And whereas there are approximately 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members at the Auburn Police Department. And whereas since the first recorded police death in 1786, more than 24,412 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and tragically been killed in the line of duty. Sadly, there will be 147 new names of fallen officers being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including Washington State Patrol Trooper Christopher Gadd. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, call upon all community members in Auburn to observe the week of May 11 through 17, 2025 as National Police Week, and join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities. And I further call upon community members of Auburn to observe May 15th, 2025 as National Peace Officers Memorial Day and lower flags to half-staff as directed under presidential order in honor of the law enforcement personnel who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service, and let us also recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes and their families. Dated this 5th day of May, 2025. Chief, I'll give that to you, and do you have a few words that you would like to say?
Real quick, I'll be brief. I think you said it almost all in the proclamation. But National Police Week was created to honor the men and women who work in the field of law enforcement. Currently, there are over 1.2 million people working in various roles in law enforcement, including commissioned and non-commissioned officers and support staff. Police Week culminates in Peace Officers Memorial Day on May 15th. On that date, we honor those peace officers who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to the community. It is also a day where we can honor their family members and let them know their loved ones will not be forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Next is Municipal Clerks Week, and I will ask Sean Campbell, our city clerk, to come forward. Take you away from that safe spot over there. Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of the local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest amongst public servants and is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerks. And whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the residents, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, county, and international professional organizations. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim the week of May 4th through 10th, 2025, as Municipal Clerks Week in the City of Auburn, and extend appreciation to our city clerks for their vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the community they represent. Dated this 5th day of May, 2025. Sean, I will give that to you.
Thank you.
And ask if you have any words that you would like to share.
I'd like to accept this on behalf of my entire team. I have an amazing team, and they work very hard to make sure that everything in this is true every day for the council, the mayor, and all of the residents of Auburn. So, thank you.
Thank you. The next proclamation is for Affordable Housing Week. Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas all people should have access to safe, healthy, and affordable homes, and whereas the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, defines affordable housing as housing on which the occupant is paying no more than 30% of gross income for housing costs, including utilities. And whereas the State Department of Commerce projects that by 2044, King County needs nearly 200,000 net new housing units for households at or below 80% of area median income. And whereas studies have found that each $100 increase in median rent results in a 15% increase in homelessness in metro areas and a 39% increase in homelessness in nearby suburbs and rural areas. And whereas the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated many existing financial constraints for low and moderate income households, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recognize safe, healthy, and affordable housing within communities of opportunity as key social determinants of health. And whereas everyone benefits from affordable housing, including the people who reside in these properties, their neighbors, businesses, employers, and the community as a whole. And whereas the City of Auburn is united to raise public awareness and participating in local Affordable Housing Week efforts to inform the public of the critical need to preserve and increase affordable housing in our communities. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim the week of May 12th through 16, 2025, as Affordable Housing Week in the City of Auburn, and commit to actions and efforts to ensure our residents can live with dignity in safe, healthy, and affordable homes, dated this fifth day of May 2025. And next is Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And we have Pastor Ofalangi, and I believe you have brought some friends with you, if you would like to come forward. Welcome. Pastor, when you say you're going to show up, you show up.
Yes, we do show up. So you can stand there, Sissy. And then Mayor, there's just a lei for you, and you don't have to wear it all night. Just a small.
Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. I will wear it all night. Thank you so much. Oh, this is beautiful. I am honored. Thank you. Oh, it smells lovely too. Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is observed during the month of May to recognize and celebrate the vibrant cultures and heritage of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, AANHPIs. And whereas AANHPI Heritage Month originated with a congressional bill in June of 1977 and later expanded into a month-long event in 1992. An estimated 24 million Asian Americans and 1.6 million Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders currently live in the U.S. And whereas we recognize the significant contributions and accomplishments of generations of AANHPI individuals in the arts, education, sciences, government, sports, and economic development, both across our state and in the City of Auburn. And whereas we celebrate the AANHPI communities, we also reaffirm our commitment to combating the surge of anti-Asian hate crimes to create a more supportive, inclusive, and equitable community. And whereas today, the City of Auburn seeks to recognize the diversity of its community and afford all residents the opportunity to better understand, recognize, and appreciate the rich history and shared experiences of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in the City of Auburn and urge our community to join me in this special observance, dated this 5th day of May 2025. Pastor?
Yeah, just want to say thank you on behalf of the Asian American, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders in this community. Thank you, Mayor Backus, along with the city council members, city officials and employees, and all, along with our residents of Auburn. I just want to thank you for this opportunity. It is true we like good food, we love sports, and community, and that's something that we bring to the table here into our community is a family-oriented. And so with us here this evening, we have the Pune family who have 3 sons here who honor and love integrity and honesty. And so with them here, along with 3 Geneva, Leana, and Gilifoti here, who are members of this community, their parents, Joanne and Vincent Teolilo. These kids use their gifts and their talents to serve. That's their passion, and to represent well within this community. And I have my 4 children as well. Michael, our oldest, Akosita, Malachi, and Josiah. And they love the sports. And so on yesterday, matter of fact, they won the, what was it, your division? Yeah, oh, your championship. You're playing for Auburn Parks, I think it is, at Riverside High School, where they won their division championship. But along with that, we received this proclamation. We are honored that we get to represent this community. And as we come here, we are blessed to stand beside you, stand with you. And just looking at our representation of your Asian American, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, I believe the future looks good. And we are here to stand with you and to serve where we can in honor of making this a better place. So thank you again, Mayor Backus, for inviting us here tonight.
Very seldom am I in the tall group.
I can't see you.
Oh, yeah, there she is. There. 1, 2, 3.
You don't have to. We would love to have you here, but you certainly don't have to. There's only a few of us that absolutely have to. Thank you for being here this evening. Right. Next is Jewish American Heritage Month. Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas since 2006, when it was first recognized by Congress, Jewish American Heritage Month has been celebrated to honor the enduring legacy and profound impacts of Jewish Americans in our society. And whereas from our nation's earliest days, Jewish Americans have been an essential part of the American story, greatly contributing to the religious, cultural, political, economic, and intellectual advancement of all people, even while in the face of discrimination and adversity, working tirelessly to realize their piece of the American dream with relentless spirit, and these remarkable achievements have enriched our country. And whereas, as we celebrate the rich heritage of the Jewish American community in the city of Auburn, we recognize that American Jews have worked tirelessly to strengthen the promise of religious freedom and civil rights in the United States by joining together with all faiths to reject ignorance and intolerance, teach empathy and compassion, and root out hatred wherever it exists. And through our understanding and study of the Holocaust, we know the human devastation that can come from systemic prejudice, and we are compelled to never forget. And whereas this month we honor Jewish Americans past and present who have woven their experience and accomplishments into the fabric of our national identity. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Jewish American Heritage Month in the City of Auburn, and call upon our residents to celebrate Jewish Americans who contributed immeasurably to the fabric of American history, culture, science, education, and social justice, and to many other aspects of our community. Dated this 5th day of May, 2025. And finally, Older Americans Month, and I'm going to ask Rocky Kerwin from the Auburn Senior Center to come forward. Hello, Rocky. Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas the City of Auburn includes a thriving community of older Americans who deserve recognition for their contributions and sacrifices to ensure a better life for future generations. And whereas the City of Auburn is stronger when people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds are included and encouraged to make their mark. And whereas the City of Auburn is committed to advancing collaboration among healthcare, community-based, governmental, and academic organizations to enable our older Americans to age well and enjoy a great quality of life. And whereas we can foster communities of strength by creating opportunities to share stories and learn from each other, engaging older adults through education, recreation, and service, encouraging people of all ages to celebrate connections and resilience. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Older Americans Month in the City of Auburn and urge community members to recognize older adults and the people who support them as essential contributions to the strength of our community, dated this 5th day of May, 2025. Thank you. If you'd like to say a few words.
A few words. It's really an honor to be able to work at what I think is the best senior center in the state of Washington. We wouldn't be the best without the support of the mayor, the city council, and all of the past and present great leadership in our department. Just an example of all the things we do this week is a great example. Today we had a Cinco de Mayo lunch with 170 people, a mariachi band, and dancing. Tomorrow we're taking a group to indoor skydiving with a group of seniors. We're taking a group downtown for lunch on Wednesday. We're going to local nurseries on Thursday, and then on Friday we have another 170 people coming in for lunch for Mother's Day and a fashion show. So we offer all kinds of activities ranging from cards and puzzles to skydiving or indoor skydiving. So there's something for everybody. So it's a great place to work. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you, Rocky. We do indeed have a wonderful senior center, and it is Senior Activity Center, and there are activities galore. All right. Sean, do we have any agenda modifications this evening?
Your Honor, an updated version of Resolution 5827 was provided to council prior to the meeting.
Thank you. All right, this evening we have two public hearings. First public hearing is for Level 3 Communications, LLC, franchise agreement number FRN 23-0004. And Director Galb, do we have any staff presentation this evening?
No staff presentation tonight. This was discussed at last week's study session with the council.
Thank you. All right, I will open the public hearing for Level 3 Communications, LLC, franchise agreement number FRN 23-0004. Is there anyone that would like to speak during this public hearing on this topic? Is there anyone that would like to speak this evening? Third time, is there anyone that would like to speak during this public hearing? All right. We will close the public hearing for Level 3 Communications, LLC, franchise agreement number FRN 23-0004. Next is a public hearing for ordinance number 6978, a public hearing to consider an ordinance relating to the adoption of a 6-month moratorium for energy storage system facilities proposed to be located in the city of Auburn. Director Crum, is there any staff presentation for this?
No staff presentation tonight, Mayor. City staff did present on this subject last week at the April 28th City Council study session.
Thank you. All right, I will open the public hearing for ordinance number 6978. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this topic? Please come forward, give your name and address for the record, and please limit comments to 3 minutes.
My name is Ronnie Morgan, and I live over here in North Auburn off of 30th Street. And I came by to support the moratorium on the BES. Our neighbors over here in Covington are having an issue because they're trying to build one right next to a school and a big residential area. And I've done a little bit of research on them. You know, I've seen car batteries explode and vehicles catch on fire in my business. And I've seen an RV just burn to the ground because they wanted to wait for it. And I learned that, you know, if we were going to evacuate because of one of these fires, the radius would be 5 miles or up to like 27 miles because of the stuff that goes into the air. And Auburn isn't really a, you know, it's not unfamiliar to us to have an ecological disaster like this happen. Our neighbors over here in Algona next to Boeing had chemicals leak into their water there. And it's still an issue today. And if you buy a house within that area, they have to disclose it because of the chemicals that were leached from Boeing. And to me, one of these battery storage facilities, the risk is not worth the reward. Our state produces more energy than we consume, and the excess gets shipped to California for a profit. And looking at the ones that would be built around here, if there was an emergency and the power lines went down and we lost our power, it wouldn't do us any good to have it stored because the lines are down and the power can't get to the houses anyway until they restore the lines where the power is. And so, you know, I believe that the toxic risk, even from them leaking, they don't have to catch on fire. The casings could be damaged in different ways just from sitting there. So I support the 6-month moratorium. I think you guys should take some careful consideration on, you know, what your rules will be for allowing one in and zoning for it. It's got to be in the right place, and if it poses a significant risk to the health of our neighbors, I think that we should just say no. But I tried to raise awareness online about this issue as well, and I'm hoping that others will come and give some statements either online or in person to you guys as you consider this important issue for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak this evening on public hearing for ordinance number 6978? Final time, is there anyone that would like to speak? Right? We will close
Mayor?
the public.
I have
Oh, I'm sorry.
written comments.
Oh, yes, please.
Thank you. Rebecca Colday, James DeLay, Trinette Nelson all spoke in support of the moratorium, and Julian Lowe spoke in support of a facility here in Auburn.
Thank you. All right. I will now close the public hearing for ordinance number 6978 for energy storage system facilities. All right, we will move to audience participation. This is the place on the agenda where the public is invited to speak to the city council on any issue. We also have the ability for people to submit written comments. Sean, did we receive any written comment this evening?
No, Your Honor, the only written comments we received were for the public hearing.
Thank you. And do we have anyone online that requested special accommodation?
No, Your Honor, we do not.
All right. We will open public comment to the in-person attendees. Is there anyone that would like to provide public comment this evening? Is there anyone that would like to provide public comment this evening? Please come forward, give your name and city of residence for the record, and please limit comments to 3 minutes. Sean will start the clock when you start speaking.
Council members, my name is Karina Harn. I am the Assistant Presiding Judge for King County District Court. I would like to make some comments with regard to your discussions about forming your own court or staying with the district court. I'm happy to do it at this time or to wait until a more appropriate time to do it during your meeting. And I just ask for your direction into
This
what's
is the
most
only time for
appropriate.
public comment.
Now is the time? Thank you. I want to introduce the folks who are here with me. This is Kimberly Howells. She's our Director of Operations, who's responsible for overseeing part of what happens at your district court here in Auburn. Also Judge Brian Todd, who's our South Division presiding judge, and Othniel Palomino, who's our Chief Administrative Officer. I hope that you'll indulge me for just a couple of minutes to give you just a little bit of background about how we got here to your court contract with the King County District Court. Back in 2005, and it's a long ways back, but at that point, the county and the cities who were contracting with King County for district court services were at a point where there was much unhappiness about the contract. The county and the county executive at that point was Ron Sims, felt that the cities were getting services that they weren't paying for, and the cities felt just as strongly that they were paying for services that they weren't getting. And there wasn't much transparency between those two things. And we started meeting with the cities at that point, and really what turned out to be the truth was there was probably some truth to both. We were not providing services that the cities were expecting, and the cities weren't paying for services that we were providing. And we worked really hard to have a very transparent contract where there was full cost recovery and no more. The cities who were there representing at those meetings were adamant that they wanted a very transparent contract where they could exactly see what they were paying for and only pay for what they saw. And the county made a commitment at that point to do exactly that. At that point, and I want to back up a little bit, one of the things that was not officially being billed to the cities was the probation services. And the reason for that was that we were charging for probation services the defendants. And the defendants were paying enough money to cover the cost for probation services in 2005 and for many years thereafter. At some point, many years ago now, the Supreme Court decided that courts, and it doesn't matter whether you're a municipal court or a district court, could no longer assess fines and costs against indigent defendants. There were some exceptions to that, but in general, that was the rule. And so as time went on, the amount of money that was being collected for probation services decreased. And it's basically at this point reached pretty close to nothing, because most of the defendants that we put on probation are indigent. There are a few limited ones that aren't. And so there's not much money there anymore. The county has...
Judge Harns, we have reached the 3 minutes, so are you close to wrapping up?
May I have 3 more minutes?
You may not, but someone else may have 3 more minutes.
Okay.
We limit it to 3 minutes per person, and we don't allow people to share their time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Othniel Palomino. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer for the King County District Court. And I just wanted to talk maybe about a couple issues. One is that, as Judge Harn was mentioning, probation services are part of the full cost recovery model that the county has mandated by ordinance that we attain to. And so we have, over time, have conversations with our city partners and have looked at it closely. And as part of the recent budget issues that the county is facing, we looked at all of our operations and realized that the cities we were no longer able to provide probation services to our city partners. And in the way that we have been, where the county, in essence, pays for all of the cost. It's not full cost recovery. And so as soon as we discovered that in late February, we called a meeting in March. At that time, There is a notice period that cities can give to that cities can give in order to leave the ILA, the contract, and that time period had passed. And so as part of the process, we decided that we need to have some conversations around how probation services would work. We didn't want people to think that there was some sort of bait and switch occurring. So we decided to give a 60-day window that would allow cities to make a decision about whether or not they want to stay with the county. And we also wanted to work with our city partners around options, such as potentially having fewer things that they place on probation. And we also wanted to make sure that we gave them enough time to figure out whether they wanted to bring those services inside the cities or to go ahead and work with us on the new cost basis. And so we took that forward and have been having those conversations with all the cities that participate in our program. The other thing that I was looking through the slides, I just wanted to address a couple things. There was some thought as to whether or not we were asking for a variety of different upgrades to the city. This has all been part of a lease negotiation where the city would pay for certain things and the county would pay for certain things. So it's not as if we're just going to request that all of the costs be borne by the city.
And Judge, unfortunately, your 3 minutes are up as well if someone else would like to take over.
Right. And good evening, everyone. I'm Judge Brian Todd. I'm your South Division presiding judge. And just to kind of follow and take it from the judicial perspective of I have come in and I have sat on the City of Auburn calendars. I've conducted a couple of trials for the City of Auburn here. And one thing I will note is that very recently with some change in staffing, that the relationship has been good between the prosecutor, the court, the defense agencies that the court has been working with. And that has really been a work in progress that we've gotten through communication, through sharing, through openness, through that transparency that we were talking about. And we would really urge you to continue with using our court. Now, I also too went through the slides that you had presented and had taken a look at. And it really looked to me that one of the things that the Auburn City Council wanted was to be able to instill community values in what you do and to be able to use those community resources that you are wanting to use. And one thing I can say, there's a couple ways to get there. First of all, we do have Auburn Community Court. Judge Leah Taguba is your judge here down in Auburn that is so proud of her Auburn Community Court that she uses those Auburn resources and puts those together. And it would be quite a shift for the City of Auburn and for the council to have to move that to a municipal standard as opposed to using the King County District Court services. The other thing is, for example, probation. One option you may have and you may want to discuss is having a City of Auburn probation department that would be able to then use those services. I would point you out to our neighbors to the north and slightly to the east of you, Bellevue. Bellevue also contracts with King County District Court for their municipal court services, but Bellevue, the City of Bellevue has their own probation department that they run and they provide the probation services. And so that may be another option that you might want to look at as opposed to starting a whole new court, having to have the expenses of startup, judges, and everything else. One other thing I will point out is that because we have the King County District Court does have the City of Auburn cases, even if the city were to choose to leave in January of 2027, the King County District Court would have to keep those cases that continue on through that supervision, and that's would be an ongoing expense and ongoing concern going forward. And so I really would urge the members of the council this evening to consider staying with King County District Court, or in the alternative, if you want those public resources, those public values, maybe consider starting your own probation department. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Kim Howells. I'm the Court Operations Director for King County District Court. I just wanted to add one more brief little thing. Currently, we don't know if there's going to be any federal or state grants for community courts, so that's something else to consider. Right now, that is something that we pay on our end. It comes out of a completely different fund, so that is something that we would just want you to take into consideration as well. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak tonight? Anyone else that would like to speak tonight? Final. Okay, please.
You guys have at least 3 or 4 people that are on the social media link that are having their hands raised for comment.
We don't have a social media link, sir.
Oh, okay. I was getting messages that they were trying to comment
Do we have anyone online tonight, Sean?
through the,
Your Honor, we didn't
Zoom
have
link?
anybody contact me to be able to speak remotely.
Yeah, the requirements are for anyone remotely wanting to provide comment is to coordinate with the clerk's office by 5 p.m. that day to be able to be identified.
okay.
And
They're
comment.
watching over the Zoom right now, so. Can I speak again, or?
You
since this
can,
isn't
because
you-
this is public comment and you were speaking at a public
At the public
hearing.
hearing,
But you'll need to limit it to 3 minutes and you need to provide your name and city of residence for the
Will do.
record.
Thank you. My name is Ron Morgan. I'll be really brief. I live on 30th Street Northeast here in Auburn. And in response to the guys over there at the court, I don't think that it's really about the money for the neighbors. We used to have a judge here pretty on the street. They thought he was a mean judge, Judge Burns. We had Judge Phillips over in Kent, and I served a little bit of time over there in Kent with a guy that got 30 days for a $6 sandwich. So, you know, they would hand out a day less than a year all the time, and people were afraid to come to our cities and commit crimes because they knew we had strict judges that were going to put them in jail. You know, they're indigent. They don't have money for services. You know, they're going to provide free legal services and free probation that they're not going to keep because they bounce from place to place. Just put them in jail for 30 days, and when they get out, they'll go somewhere else that's easier on them. We will be able to choose our own judge again. We'll be able to run our own city without King County tying our hands and wanting us to fit the bill. We own 36% of the Score jail. That means we pay 36% of all the bills. Do we have more inmates in there than Burien or Des Moines? But they pay less than us. I don't know who does the accounting on that. But, you know, we foot a lot of the bill for a lot of the inmates. And we need to consider taking our court back, and fixing our juvenile court system too, because we don't even have a facility to put juveniles right now for any length of time, an hour or two until their parents get there, but nothing more than that. It's temporary. So we got to think about what we're doing with our court, with our jail, with our juveniles, and it starts with just taking it back from King County. Thank you, you guys. Have a good
Thank
evening. You guys have been here for a long time.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak tonight? Yes, please.
Can I talk about the best ordinance, or is that?
Well, the public hearing is over, but you are allowed to speak on any topic during public comment. So if you please come forward, give your name and city of residence for the record, and please limit comments to 3 minutes.
Hi, Bonnie Helms. I live in Yelm now, but I just moved from Auburn 3 months ago. My mom still lives up on Lee Hill, so I want to just say thank you for doing the moratorium. Hopefully it gets voted in. It's a good ordinance. I read it through really quick. I think it's a smart thing. I will probably see you guys in another 6 months when we extend it, because the technology is just going to keep going really, really fast. Right now, they're trying to tell you guys that, or well, you guys, people in government, that LFP, the lithium iron phosphate, is the new safe battery energy storage system. But I can give you a whole list of incidents where those, just in February 2025 in England, Again, February 2025 in Scotland, September 2024 in Australia. These are all lithium iron phosphate BESS that have had incidents. So it is really dangerous. I really hope that you guys can help protect the community in a safe, sustainable way. In 6 months, we may have something completely different for a battery chemistry, so we can consider it then. If you guys want, I can provide a list of lithium iron phosphate, because we need to, in any ordinance that does come through, if it does allow BESS in the city limits of Auburn, make sure that you specify in that ordinance the chemistry, because that's really essential. A sodium ion battery doesn't have the same capability to go into thermal runaway as a lithium ion one. So keep the moratorium and vote yes on it. And I hope to see you guys in 6 months when we extend it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak this evening? Final time, is there anyone else that would like to speak this evening? All right, we will move on from audience participation. We have no correspondence this evening, I believe, Sean?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Council ad hoc committee reports. Council ad hoc committee chairs may report on the status of their ad hoc council committee's progress on assigned tasks and may give their recommendation to the city council, if any. We currently have one ad hoc committee, that is Council Rules of Procedure, chaired by Councilmember Baldwin.
Thank you, Mayor. For our current update, we have another committee meeting scheduled for Thursday, hoping to get wrapped up with our first draft and be able to be in a position to bring that forward for council review and input.
Thank you. All right, we will move to the consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered by the City Council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Do we have a motion? Deputy Mayor Rakes.
I move to adopt the consent agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Rakes.
The consent agenda includes minutes from April 7th and 14th, 2025 for special city council meetings, minutes from April 21st, 2025 regular.
Oh, your microphone.
I turned it off. Regular city council meetings, minutes from April 28th, 25 study session meeting, and the claims and vouchers as listed.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Councilmember Baldwin.
Sure. So the special focus area for finance, which consists of Councilmember Clinton Taylor and myself, reviewed that one set of claims vouchers. That was about 39 pages this week, including 9 electronic fund transfers, 4 wire transfers, and totaled approximately $3.17 million, as well as payroll vouchers for April 17th to 30th, totaling approximately $3.3 million. And to my knowledge, there were no questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments or any desire to remove any of the consent agenda items for separate consideration? All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The consent agenda passes. We have no unfinished business.
Mayor?
Councilmember Baldwin?
Given we do have representatives from King County District Court who've made it a point to come today and be able to speak with us, and given the short time frame for reviewing and discussing the municipal court resolution, I would move to give them time to speak to us a little bit longer than the 3-minute limit for public comment.
Okay. Is there a second? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Are there any comments? Councilmember Tracy Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. With all due respect, we were given the materials long before. As a matter of fact, study sessions dating as far back as June 12th of 2023 to review before having this vote this evening. I think it would be in our best interest, and if we did our due diligence, went back and reviewed the materials that were provided to us, not only through our council retreat, but also to go back and look into our archives of those meetings and study sessions. I believe we have enough information in front of us to make an informed decision tonight.
Okay. Councilmember Baldwin.
I'm glad to hear that Councilmember Taylor is prepared to make her decision, but we have representatives who were not able to attend our council retreat. and have been able to find time in their schedules to make it here so that way we would have the opportunity to ask them questions. And from a historic standpoint, what it is that we're deciding on is based on new information that has only become available as of March. So to go back historically and look at the information, even if one had, does not necessarily provide a final answer for what we're facing as far as decisioning today. As it stands, we have not had an opportunity to survey the community. As it stands, one of the three options available to us would include writing a blank check for bringing everything in-house, which I know I'm not particularly comfortable with. And the option that affords us the most value or bang for our buck is option 2, which would be the split one as we had begun to hear in the presentation. So I know from my standpoint, having the opportunity to hear a little bit more when it is a big decision that affects our residents in a way that is related to justice, related to their chance to, go through a court system that will impact their life in very significant and very meaningful ways. I don't like that we have had to rush this, and I do think that we have time this evening to allow 10 to 15 minutes to at least hear out what the district has to say and to be allowed to ask and have questions with them.
Councilmember Trout-Manuel.
I have to agree with that. I've been here since we've been talking about all this from quite a while, but we do have new council members that, you might have gone back and reviewed some of those videos, but you haven't been here to ask questions when these individuals have been present. And I have to say that I also feel like we've been rushing this so quickly without hearing from them. They should have been able to come to us and talk to us about what's been going on. I know the history of when they were having a lot of problems there at the court. We ended up fixing it by several of our attorneys left, and we have gotten new attorneys. And I know that they're doing a fabulous job now with the court system because now they have attorneys that show up for their hearings, and they've got the judges to be able to do their diligence of doing those cases. So I think we need to bring this back, and I think we need to really look at this because we just got done with the retreat, and we found out that we need an M&O building. We need our new city hall needs to be rebuilt. We need the police department. We have a lot on our agenda, and then to get a new courthouse, I think we need to go back and do like what the school district did when they went A, B, C with all the schools. We can do that with our city too, instead of rushing to get a new court, and we've got all these other expenses that we are facing to deal with too. So that is why I second this, and I think we need to bring it back.
Thank you. Councilmember Trout-Manuel, just to correct a couple of things. There was no priority set by council to build a new city hall, nor was there a priority to build a new courthouse, as you mentioned. That was to bring court back in as a municipal court, but that was not building a new courthouse or building a new city hall.
But
yeah, Councilmember Trout-Manuel.
I understand that, but we're looking at more expanses to move our court into where we would like to move it. I did not say that we agreed. We have it at the table that we need an M&O building. We need a new council building. We need we've been talking about all these. These are some of the things that at our retreat, we all put our little dots to prioritize what we have, our needs. But we don't have the budget right now, so we need to look at the cost as well.
Right, but there were no priorities for a new council or city hall that were. Councilmember Baldwin.
To refocus, what I would like in this motion is I would like at least 10 minutes to allow the court members who have made their way here this evening to be able to share with us with a little bit more detail their feedback and input on the ramifications of this decision, the pros and cons that go with this decision, and to provide council an opportunity to have a very limited chance to ask questions directly of the courts and have our answers before we go into our decision on the resolution. I think that that is fair given the short time frame and turnaround, and again, not trying to reopen the whole situation, but with the three options that were provided to us, I would like council to be able to make that decision having full input, and I think that's something that we deserve and the community deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? All those in favor of providing 10 minutes for King County District Court to provide additional comments past the 12 minutes that were allowed at public comment period, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no.
No.
Okay, we have 3 in favor, I believe. So if you were in favor, please put your hand up for me. 1, 2, 3. All opposed, please put your hand up. 1, 2, 3, 4. The motion fails. Okay. Moving on, we have no unfinished business. We have no new business. We will move to ordinances. Ordinance number 6978, an ordinance relating to adoption of a temporary 6-month moratorium on the acceptance, processing, and/or approval of applications for building and land use development permits and related land use decisions for energy storage system facilities proposed to be located within the city of Auburn. Is there a motion? Councilmember Tracy Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve ordinance number 6978, please.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Ammer.
I second, ma'am.
Thank you. Councilmember Tracy Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance will impose a temporary 6-month moratorium on permitting activity related to commercial energy storage system facilities to allow city staff to develop appropriate zoning, development, and construction regulations for these types of systems.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor of ordinance number 6978, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Ordinance number 6978 passes. There will be a temporary 6-month moratorium on any decisions related to energy storage system facilities. Moving to resolutions. Resolution number 5825, a resolution adopting the 2025 through 2029 Consolidated Plan and the 2025 Annual Action Plan. Is there a motion? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 5825.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Clinton Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. I second that.
Thank you. Councilmember Trout Manuel.
The City of Auburn received federal entitlement grant through the Department of Housing and Urban Development. As a condition of the entitlement, every 5 years, the city is required to submit an update consolidated plan and an annual action plan to guide the investment of the Community Development Block CDBG funds. Auburn is part of the large King County Consortium. Therefore, Auburn's consolidated plan is part of the larger regional plan and expires on December 31st, 2024. The resolution number 5825, if adopted by the City Council, adopts the 25-29 Consolidated Plan and the 25 Annual Action Plan, and authorizes the mayor to implement such administrative procedure as may be necessary to carry out directed of the legislation.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor of resolution number 5825, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Resolution number 5825 passes, adopting the 2025 through 2029 Consolidated Plan and the 2025 Annual Action Plan. Resolution number 5826, a resolution declaring certain real property as surplus and authorizing its disposal. Is there a motion? Councilmember Baldwin.
Thank you, Mayor. I would move to adopt resolution number 5826.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember or Deputy Mayor Rakes.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Baldwin.
Thank you, Mayor. This is surplus property that is no longer needed by the city. And so to be good stewards, we want to divest our interest in those, eliminating our ownership costs, reducing risk of exposure, and returning the property to tax rolls. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments about resolution number 5826? All those in favor of resolution 5826, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Resolution number 5826 passes. Resolution number 5827, a resolution authorizing the mayor to terminate the interlocal agreement between the City of Auburn and King County to stand up the City of Auburn Municipal Court. Is there a motion? Councilmember Sturgis.
I would move to adopt resolution 5827.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Ammer.
A second, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Sturgis.
Yes, this resolution is, as we've heard this evening, allows our mayor to issue written notice for the termination of our interlocal agreement for district court services to King County.
Thank you. Questions or comments? No, go ahead. Councilmember Sturgis and then Councilmember Baldwin.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming this evening to speak. I know it feels like it may be a rushed process, but really this has been a topic. I ran for city council 2 years ago, back in 2023, and it was one of the pressing issues that I did hear from a lot of community members as well as our law enforcement officers here in Auburn. And so I feel really confident. I always love hearing more perspective and appreciated your comments earlier. But I do feel that as city council, this has been a long overdue topic, and I was really grateful to have the rich discussion we had at the the retreat last week, because it's a topic that I've really been looking forward to, us being able to have local accountability for our courthouse. So I just wanted to share that background because I know I'm the newest one on council. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Thank you, Mayor. I would move that we amend the motion by authorizing the mayor to provide proper and timely notice to King County of the city's election to provide its own probation services as provided by Section 224 of the existing ILA, rather than terminating the ILA at this time.
Thank you. Is there a second on that? Councilmember Trout-Manuel.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Baldwin.
Thank you, Mayor. For folks at home, we were reviewing 3 options put before us at our council retreat last week. The first option, which would have kept both the King County courts and probation, would have cost at the high end $3.5 million per year. But with that, we would be able to receive full district court services, including name changes, small claims courts, and protection orders here locally in Auburn, as well as being able to keep our community courts and our Auburn selection of judges, where we have a pool of judges from the county, and we have the ability to select which of those we want to serve for us. And those judges are, in fact, elected by Auburn residents, as well as being able to delegate operations and maintaining a clear separation of powers. That was our first option we were presented. Our second option that we were presented was the ability to keep our courts with King County, but bring our probation services into Auburn. And that provided the best value and most affordable option, which would at the low end cost $2.7 million annually, and at the high end $2.9. So being the most affordable option, that would allow us to not only keep our court services, keep our community court, keep our Auburn selection of the judges out of that pool, but it would also allow us time to establish the probation services through expanding and taking advantage of our Health and Human Services Department. It would give us time to do direct engagement with the community as opposed to the limited set of 25 to, I believe, 30 stakeholders that were part of the court evaluation that has happened to date. And those individuals were all directly within the court or Auburn services. It would allow us time to review a court decision that would be based on outcomes data, meaning it could give us time to look at which of these court options provide the best outcomes for our victims and the best outcomes to reduce recidivism in those who are offending. It would allow us time to identify and fund the full startup costs if we did in the future decide to go with Auburn-owned courts. And it would allow us to keep King County as a future partner if and when we choose to adjust our facilities plans going forward. So again, option 2 being the most affordable for us to make a decision, which at this point seems to be very much based on funding and gives us runway to prepare if we would ever want to change in the future. And that difference of funds, if we're willing to pay the most, we could take that and put it into prevention services. We could put it into treatment services. And option 3, the one that's before us tonight, the one to which my counterparts are not allowing King County to come speak to us,
Out of order.
which is to, that was your vote, Councilmember. And option 3 is to have Auburn Municipal Courts and Auburn Probation Services at the cost of $3.5 million, where there's one pro, is that we would, as council, as a city, have one opportunity to appoint 2 judges. The cons with that option is that we do not know, council does not know, the city could not provide us the cost for the startup costs for that investment. So that would be $3.5 million plus startup costs.
Councilmember Baldwin, if you will,
I'm not quite finished.
there is a point of order.
To what?
You start attacking council, not to the point. So I'm sorry, council.
Okay, I would ask that comments be kept
Germaine to the topic.
factual. I know what I'm going to say, Councilmember Baldwin. You don't need to try and put words in my mouth. Thank you. I'm going to ask that comments remain civil and that we all take a deep breath before we speak and make sure that we are treating each other with respect on this dais. Okay? Councilmember Baldwin, please finish.
Thank you. To finish with the cons or the negative aspects of option 3, which would be to bring both the courts and probation services in-house, as I had mentioned, that decision tonight would constitute a blank check because the city has been unable to provide what the startup cost would be to pursue that option. It would lead to a loss of locally available district court services. As mentioned, we would lose the ability to provide locally in Auburn name changes, small court claims, and protection orders, which is very relevant to those who experience domestic violence. We would only have that first appointment of judges. After that point, any elected judges are elected by the people. And yes, that could be important, but it can also be a risk because what that means is you can be stuck with those judges. If more people don't run in the future, you don't have any options. You get what you get in that. With that option, we would have a limited timeline to hire approximately 16 to 17 court staff. And it should be noted that our court consultants informed us that staffing for courts has been a challenge nationwide recently. And we would also have a limited time to find suitable candidates for those appointments. So there are many risks and many challenges that are presented with option 3, which is also a higher cost than option 2, which is to simply keep our courts with King County and allow for probation services to come into Auburn. That second option is the most affordable. It gives us time to understand what the costs are for future startup if we do want to take our courts back in. And when we talk about the values, we heard values being important. I agree that values are important. When we had our retreat, I asked our staff, I said, when you go to King County courts, do they listen to you when you set your conditions for release? Do they listen to you with your probation requests? And our staff told us that King County listens. They said that they match what they ask for over 90% of the time. So if we're not getting what we want, are we not asking for what we want? Why do we want to pay the most amount of money for an outcome that is not guaranteed when we don't even know what the startup costs are? And we haven't even discussed what a transition plan would look like for the cases, should we go in this direction. I think there are so many unknowns to cancel this agreement in full. I think we need more time. I think the community needs more time. And I think, honestly, we're jumping in over our heads. I think the second option is the best one. It gives us a split path. It lets us keep the best of what we have right now. It does give us control in the selection of our judges, our highly skilled, highly trained judges. We have a pool of them, and all of those judges live in South King County. There is a requirement that they live in our region. They're not outsiders. These are people that live nearby. So I think when we want to talk about are they responsive, we said we took these judges to the SCORE jail, and that changed their approach. We got a new presiding judge, and we've had great responsiveness. We've asked them to participate. They have shown up tonight without even being on the agenda. And so to say that we've made a decision and that we've committed to a decision with so many unknowns, I find very disheartening. So with that, I stand by my amendment that I think the best option for Auburn at this time, with the knowledge we have as a council, is option 2, as noted in my motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Councilmember Trout-Manuel.
Councilwoman Baldwin, thank you. Thank you for doing the research. Thank you for speaking the truth. And we should be more transparent. And that is something that I feel sometimes that we do not have the transparency. And we really need to start doing that. And also to invite some people to the table before we even make a decision, to be able to hear them. And I thought that we were doing okay until we brought this to the retreat. And that was a little surprising for me. But thank you for doing the research and looking into the facts and stuff.
Councilmember Trout-Manuel, you mentioned transparency. What in this process has not been transparent for you?
By not having the individuals at the table when we are presenting something that's going to affect them. And I think that they should have been invited to the table to be able to share, to answer some of our questions if we had the opportunity to ask questions. And so that, to me, we weren't being transparent.
Councilmember Trout-Manuel, I can assure you that they were aware of the date of May 1 when this was going to be discussed at the retreat. In fact, Director Martinson, would you like to comment on that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just to go over the timeline really quickly that King County District Court imposed on us with the change to the ILA costing model, that is the decision point that's in front of this council this evening. So we had to give notice to King County District Court per the ILA, and as one of the council members mentioned, we started the preparation for this in 2023. That deadline was February 1st, 2025. On March 6th, at the regularly scheduled DCMRC meeting, which is one of the meetings for all of the 14 contract cities to discuss system-wide issues, was the first time that the city of Auburn was made aware of the full cost recovery model, and that was impacting Auburn as 50% of the total probation costs for King County District Court. After that, there was a meeting with 3 of the biggest cities that contract with King County District Court. So it was myself representing Auburn, the representative for the city of Shoreline, and the representative for the city of Redmond, where we were given a preliminary cost estimate at that point in time that it would cost in 2024 $518,000 additional for King County District Court services under the proposed changes to the ILA from King County District Court. On March 19th, the city of Auburn did research with the city of Bellevue on their probation operations, as we were made aware by King County District Court that that was another option in the existing ILA. So we discussed with them what that MOU looks like and how that arrangement works with King County District Court. On April 7th, the final costing model was presented by King County District Court. So that was an in-person meeting at the Bellevue Courthouse. And at that point in time, I, as the representative of City of Auburn, reviewed the ground rules for that initial negotiation meeting, and within the ground rules, it stated that the city representatives were to make King County District Court aware of any council meetings that they were planning to discuss any of this, to which time I verbalized to everyone in the room, which some of our individuals that are here tonight were there, that we needed to discuss this at our retreat, and that would be on May 1st. I was informed by the presiding judge that she was going to be out of the country, and so I met the agreement that we had to negotiate in good faith with King County District Court, made them aware of that meeting, and spoke with the presiding judge today also to discuss the actions tonight, in which I invited the King County staff to come if they chose to. So that is all the engagement that I've done related to King County District Court for this most recent matter in front of all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Martinson. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Councilmember Tracy Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, with all due respect, all of us attended our community meetings over a period of time. I attended 4 of them, all of which top of conversation was holding criminals accountable. If I remember correctly, that's pretty much all of us and how we felt about that. We heard from our residents and our constituents that the criminals that do go to court are not held accountable. They're let free for their crimes that they commit in this city. We are doing a disservice to the residents and the citizens of this city if we continue down the road that we're going right now, if King County continues to rule the court the way that they're doing. I believe, me personally, we need to listen to what was said to us at our community meetings and really take that into consideration. Our public is asking for accountability to criminals in this city. Why are we not doing that? Thank you.
Are there any other people that would like to speak? Councilmember Sturgis.
Just to tag on to that line of thought, during my process over the last 3 years of really trying to meet with business owners and community members, one of the things that was a key learning to me was that we have 90,000 plus community members here in the city of Auburn. We only have about 10% of those people who actually go vote, and that is concerning, but thank you so much to the 10% that do vote. And then if you look at the age breakdown there, the representation of people who are going to the polls to vote for our city is not completely aligning with what the majority of people's voices are. And so for me, it was very important to get out and talk to as many people from all different backgrounds as I could, especially business owners here in the city of Auburn. While I was meeting with one business owner, there was a piece of, I won't disclose what type to maintain confidentiality, but a large piece of their property stolen by a homeless person while I was meeting with them in their office, and then ruined beyond repair. So that's about a $60,000 loss to their business that day, while I was asking them what is important to them here in the community. And that's just normal course of business and no accountability. Didn't expect any accountability. And so that's just one example, but I would say that I feel really confident that the majority of the community members here in our community, the feedback I consistently hear, and it's from the families that take their kids to all of our schools here in Auburn, the people who own homes here in Auburn, run businesses, employees at our businesses are very frustrated with the crime and the consistent theme, especially even hearing from our police officers who work this every day. There is a concern based on, and I know there's been improvements, which super grateful for, but for our city, the tone of the voice for the last 3 years that I've personally heard from a wide variety of constituents has been that we really want our own accountability. We want to be able to elect our own official. Hopefully that will inspire more people to get out and vote, and so that we can then have accountability here in our local city for crime, to stop the crime.
Thank you. Councilmember Clinton Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate you taking the time out to come. I'm kind of the one in the group that just kind of shoots straight. So here it goes. This relationship has been not the best over the years. between the two. And we've had judges who've come here and presented to us on a few different occasions that, yes, there's an acknowledgement that that relationship hasn't been what either probably would have liked, but there has been some effort to try to fix it, and I appreciate that. And then, once a relationship, and I said this in our retreat the other day, like once a relationship, suffers some lack of trust or some issues around, can I depend on you to do what you say you were going to do, and can I depend on you, do you say you were going to do, and then there becomes this issue of, can I trust you? Then there has to be some rebuilding of that trust. And I think that with the judge that we have now in place, that some of that has taken place. And there was a lot more details that the director shared with us in our retreat about the relationship. And then, as we're trying to rebuild this relationship and rebuild this trust, then you turn around and say, okay, well, yeah, but we're going to, now we're going to stick you with this bill. And we're going to make it where you have to do X, Y, Z. We don't need to get into the details because we've all read it. And it almost kind of feels like just when I was kind of thinking we were turning a corner, this pops up. And it's a big pop up, right? Because for us, wasn't expected. And then to make a decision in this short of a time, again, just kind of feels like pouring salt on the wound. And so for me, I've heard what the public has said, and we want to honor what our constituents say, but I'm a businessman too, and I'm all about the numbers and do they make sense? And so when I look at, what's in front of us, we do have a decision to make tonight, but I'm also about the relationship, and I just don't feel like, from what I've heard, because I'm new to council and I've done my research, I've listened to the director, I've listened to the judges and the different presentations, I just don't feel that that's been reciprocated. And then in the end, when we're trying to patch it up and we're trying to make it work, here's something else that pops up. And so for me, that's kind of where I've been focusing my attention on. I believe everybody up here has, heard our constituents, and we all care about our city, the safety of our city, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it also has to be a relationship between the two parties that are providing those services for our cities and for our constituents, that we feel like, it's a level playing ground. And from what I've been hearing over the last year and a half, that just hasn't been the case. So.
Thank you. Councilmember Ammer.
My husband lived here for 30 years, so we're not new to Auburn, and they live 15, so we know Auburn. We are more familiar with the municipal court. If anybody want to watch study session, it was the one June 12th, and they can watch it at hour 29, and they can hear the feedback from the former deputy attorney, from the attorney about the comment. It's the relation, it's the efficiency. Just hearing the community, we really need our municipal court. Auburn start to grow, and I think will be best for us to have our municipal court. I've been volunteer with Auburn Police for years, so that even will allow the police themselves to be easy access from the doors to their court. I think that's what we think. Was not like suddenly we haven't heard. From the time I became elected, I watched the study. I think I watched this study session many times. I can count it for many reasons. When being elected, thanks to the director, we met with the judge. I was the vice chair for the municipal. Then we met. We had 2 presentations. We got enough information and data. Hopefully will lead us to the decision we feel what the resident of this city want.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Rakes, and your microphone.
I'll have to echo that a little bit, and I will tell you the hard work that Director Thomason has, Martinson, I don't know why
And
I always mix
Thomas.
up your name.
And Thomas.
Did work on this. And I'm also on the municipal committee, and she has did her due diligence to find out everything for us and pass the information on. I also agree that this is what our residents are asking for. I'll tell you, when my car got stolen at City Hall, I was flooded with phone calls about getting our own court. I think it's something that the residents want. They feel more comfortable about it. And I think that we've had many, many opportunities to discuss this. This just wasn't an overnight decision.
Thank you. Councilmember Baldwin.
Thank you, Mayor. And I have heard concerns from the community about crime, and I've heard concerns about safety. And I know that our philosophy in the city is that we arrest more than our neighboring communities. We charge more than our neighboring communities. We bring cases to the courts more than our neighboring communities. And we use probation services more than our neighboring communities. As a result, that creates a high use of services and a high cost associated with it. I think that frustration that we all have, everyone on council, everyone in the courts, on the dais, the various dioceses, in the rooms at their homes, is that we're all frustrated with crime. But I think the big piece that we're missing in the equation is that the courts, whether they're King County or Auburn, are still beholden to the statutes passed by the state legislature. And so if we don't feel our laws are working for us adequately, I don't think the solution is changing the courts, because at the end of the day, a court is a judicial branch. It's an independent branch. We elect those judges in King County the same way that we'll elect them in Auburn. The issue that we're having is that if the laws are not sufficient for us to keep criminals accountable, that's where I see the issue being. And I feel like this is a misdirection when we already have a strong philosophy about addressing crime within our community. And as I said, the amendment on the table is the most affordable option. It gives us additional runway, additional time to engage what the approach would look like, additional time to hire. It lets us utilize our great in-house staff for health and human services. It lets us keep the full services that the district courts provides available here locally in Auburn. And it doesn't have the risk that comes with not knowing what the startup costs would be. It's a 2-year plan to be able to get to a point of being able to operate in a city-run municipal court. And a 2-year project, I don't know one that has happened without a couple $1 million attached to it as a price tag. And we don't know that number. So to say that we've heard enough or we've talked enough and still make that decision not knowing that number feels highly irresponsible to me. Full stop. Full stop. And so we know what the cost of probation services would be. We know what that would be to run it in-house. And that's a number we actually can bring to the table and make a decision on. That's why I'm comfortable with it. I think when it comes to dealing with crime, we are tough on crime in Auburn. People know it and what we do in that space. But when we talk about going back to city run, the judge that we had previously used to treat misdemeanors and give sentences that were worse than felonies. And I don't know that it's justice to give somebody 6 years for a sandwich. I don't know if that's the type of justice that we talk about when we talk about having accountability. We want a place that is appropriate and responsive and fair. And when we hear from our own staff that King County listens to us when we give release conditions, listens to us when we give probation conditions, it means that they're listening. And so our frustration with crime, I don't want it to be a distraction from what we actually need to do to address crime, which is to do more for prevention. And if we pick an option that gives us room for budget to put towards prevention, that to me just seems like the wisest path, because that is not the conversation that we have been having, and I think it's the conversation we need to have. If we're having issues with homelessness, how do we prevent that? If we're having issues with addiction, how do we prevent that? That is crime prevention. That is addressing the crime in the community. But simply changing who's delivering justice that are still beholden to the same state statutes, I don't see that being a solution that'll move us forward. So that is all I can add. Thank you.
City Attorney, I just want to get a correction. I don't believe any misdemeanant individual crime can receive a 6-year sentence, correct?
No one individual crime can, however, consecutive sentences can
But
add
for-
up to over 364 days. As
They
being
can
the
run
maximum.
consecutively.
Consecutive to each other to
But
add
no
up to
single
over
crime
that.
can do.
No single crime. A gross misdemeanor is 364 days maximum. A simple misdemeanor would be 90 days maximum of confinement.
Thank you. Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you,
Tracy
Mayor.
Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to echo something that I had heard back in June 12th of 2023, where, you know, with all due respect to King County and the work that they do, the services, if it goes back to 2023, while yes, fractured then, but on the mend now, was not specific to Auburn and its community. That sits pretty hard in my mind. On top of the fact that Councilmember Clinton Taylor really stresses the fact of a partnership that we have worked with King County, with this court, with giving them the respect and the space that they have to do the services, but then turning around and turning it back on us saying, well, listen, sorry, we're in a budget shortfall. We need to charge back everything. Again, it makes for a very fractured relationship that concerns me. But I do believe, and I'm going to sit really hard with the fact that we've heard it from our constituents that currently the system is not specific to Auburn and it doesn't meet the community needs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Call the question, Mayor. Let's go debate.
Okay, a call for the question does require a second. Is there a second for a call to the question? Councilmember Tracy Taylor seconds. It is not debatable, so it is now up for a vote. Call for the question, council, just to clarify, means that we are putting an end to the debate on this and we go for a vote. It does require a 2/3 vote, which means in this case it would require 5 council members to vote for calling the question. Is that clear? Do we have any questions on that? All those in favor of calling for the question, please say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no.
No.
Okay, it is a 5-2 vote, which means we do have the 2/3 necessary for calling the question, correct? All right, that means the debate for this amendment is over. And Sean, if you would please bring the amended resolution 5827 to council. I actually have 2 copies of it. Council, I'll give you a moment to read through that. You will notice all of the changes are in red, either underlined for new verbiage or strike through as removing. Everyone had adequate time to read? Okay, so to be clear, for those that may be watching or those in the room, this amendment would then give the description for Resolution 5827 to be a resolution of the City Council of the City of Auburn, Washington, authorizing the mayor to give notice under the interlocal agreement between the City of Auburn and King County to enable the City of Auburn to provide its own probation services. That means it would be probation services only, but we would remain with King County for court services. Clear? Anyone have any questions on that? All right, all those in favor of the amendment to give notice to enable the City of Auburn to provide its own probation services, but to stay with King County District Court for court services, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no.
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 Okay, I believe the motion fails.
I believe I have a 2-5.
2-5, correct. All right, so we now have the original motion on the floor, which would read a resolution of the City Council of the City of Auburn, Washington, authorizing the mayor to terminate the interlocal agreement between the City of Auburn and King County to stand up the City of Auburn Municipal Court. Everyone clear on that? All right, I'm going to ask that when I call for the yay, ayes, and the noes, that you please verbally say and raise your hand and keep your hand up for a moment, all right? This is this has a lot of consequence to it, so I just want to make sure that we get this right. All those in favor of resolution number 5827, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you. All opposed, please say no.
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 The motion is 5-2. City of Auburn will provide notice to King County Court to terminate the interlocal agreement. Council, thank you all very much for your thoughtful conversation on this. I know this has not been easy for anyone. So I do appreciate your time and your consideration and the seriousness with which you took this action. Next is resolution number 5830, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and administer agreements between the City of Auburn and the Washington State Department of Commerce relating to project number CP 2141, Downtown Auburn Theater. Is there a motion? Councilmember Tracy Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to adopt Resolution 5830, please.
Thank you. Is there a second? Deputy Mayor Rakes.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Tracy Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution authorizes the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Washington State Department of Commerce for grant funds in the amount of $1,498,650 for the reconstruction of the Auburn Avenue Theater and was included in the budget for this project.
Thank you. Questions or comments? All those in favor of resolution number 5830, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Councilmember Trout-Manuel, did you vote?
No, I didn't vote. But can I vote?
I'm asking for your vote.
Oh, I apologize. Aye.
So you're voting aye to accept resolution 5830.
Yes.
Thank you. All opposed, please say no. Resolution number 5830 passes. All right, Council, we have come to mayor and council member reports. At this time, the mayor and city council may report on significant items associated with their appointed positions on federal, state, regional, and local organizations. We will begin with Deputy Mayor Rakes.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the only thing I want to report on tonight is the retreat that we just had. I want to thank everybody for coming. I think that it was a wonderful retreat, and it was just good to all get together.
Thank you. Councilmember Baldwin.
Nothing to report?
Thank you. Councilmember Ammer.
Nothing, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Sturgis.
I was out last week, so just the retreat was an incredible opportunity to collaborate with all of you and to work with the city staff, so thank you for that, but nothing else to report.
Thank you. Councilmember Trout Manuel.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Tracy Taylor.
Ditto, Mayor, nothing to report.
Thank you. Councilmember Clinton Taylor. He pulls out a binder.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
And I have nothing to report as well. That being the case, thank you all for the nothing to reports tonight. We are adjourned.